everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So today, I just want to look a little bit back at the history of censorship and how Harry and Meghan, just like the globalists, use the same playbook, and how that shows that they are on the same agenda. So we all know about the Dirty Dozen from Jen Psaki and the Biden administration. Remember that? Not so long ago, that Dirty Dozen. Who were those Dirty Dozen, this disinformation dozen? Imran Ahmed can tell you all about it since he's the one that helped make that report. They were medical doctors who were against the snake bites and wanted to educate people about it. But you were not allowed. And not only were you not allowed, these people were not only deplatformed on every imaginable platform, they were also in some cases debanked. They couldn't use their credit cards. They couldn't access their bank accounts. Their funds were frozen. I mean, they were basically left to die. It was like, oh, you want to pay your groceries or your bills? No, sorry. We don't like your opinion, so go die, literally. I mean, that's basically what they did to these people, what they were trying to do. And the same with all the people they deplatformed, including myself. If you said anything that went against this narrative about snake bites, you were deplatformed, demonetized during, lockdowns and whatever, when that was your only source of income. So that's not merely like punishing you and some slap on the wrist. I mean, that's like literally trying to kill you. There's no other way to look at it. It's cutting off people from their only income. They want you to be homeless and have nothing and just die on the streets. And that's what they were doing and getting away with it. And not so differently, now this article that was published on February 3rd, 2019 by The Sun. The Sun's been in the news recently since Meghan's little, her spell work there with the sun, as the Jam Scam points out. It's been in the news a lot recently. Well, it's interesting that The Sun was the one who published this article, which you really have to look for. It's tough to find if you don't remember the exact title. But this is when the very beginning of it all, of all this dangerous censorship and deplatforming, and now in the UK imprisoning people for a tweet. Meghan and Harry started it all. I would say Meghan, because it was Meghan came on the scene. This is when the real oppression and globalist tyranny was put into action. Because you have to remember, she was very popular in the beginning, and but very soon things turned deadly, in my opinion, and that trying to destroy people. And for the first time that I've ever heard of, I think this is the first time in history in the West, in the UK, US, in the UK at least. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think this has ever happened before or since, interestingly, where they decided to dox ordinary citizens for simply calling Meghan Markle ugly or something along those lines on Twitter or other social media. Like just some, housewife saying, she can't dress or whatever. They actually doxed these women, put their faces on the mainstream media without warning, there was no warning. It was like, boom, it just came out of nowhere like a bomb, an explosion. It was a sneak attack. It was unexpected, and it was brutal, in my opinion, to do this to people who had no idea that they would do this. Right here. So this woman here, for example, she said Meghan dresses like a teenager and has dirty hands and nails. For that, they put her picture on the mainstream media, her name, where they live, what they do for a living, to defame them. Because obviously, if your picture's in the paper and you're being called a racist, bully, traitor, well, not a traitor, but a racist bully or whatever, a vile troll, they were called, and cruel. I mean, a lot of these people, I'm sure, got fired if they were working a particular place. plenty of people have gotten fired for not either supporting snake bites or even Harry and Meghan. Harry and Meghan have gotten lots of people fired. We all know about Piers Morgan because he was the most prominent and he fought back. But many other people, like columnist Julie Burchill, they said she had a racist tweet about Meghan's name choice. Now, he pointed out in that documentary, so-called documentary propaganda film for Meghan, that Meghan made claims, racist accusations against the royal family right at the same time or right after George Floyd. So she took, in my opinion, by the timing of it, took advantage of the climate of high tensions with race to say, oh, you know what? Somebody said that, somebody asked about Archie's skin color, right? So that was the big reveal on Oprah and people after that came out when people were like, what the hell? She talking about, before that, I should say, just before that, around that time, people were talking about the baby name, the very controversial Meghancy, right? And some people just made a joke about it. And this was a joke, actually. It wasn't even, it was funny. But nobody had a sense of humor, and some people still don't, about it because of the close proximity of Harry and Meghan naming their child, and also with so it wasn't Archie, must have been Lilibet. It was Lilibet because Archie came before the George Floyd 2020, and Lilibet came after. And so this person tweeted, this journalist wrote, "What a missed opportunity! They could have named it Georgina Floydina." All right, so obvious joke, nothing racist. Just mocking Harry and Meghan because Harry and Meghan, of course, jumped on the BLM train, which was globalist inspired, Marxist communist. So, and for that, she got fired. She got harassed. She got doxxed. She got her, Sussex Squad and other terrorists after her. Then after that, a lawyer was suspended. So all these people losing their jobs, their income, and being defamed, and being psychologically attacked, ruining people's mental health. What do you think all of this did to these people's mental health? To suddenly, unexpectedly, unprecedented, no warning whatsoever, to find themselves pictured in the mainstream media and being characterized as a vile troll and how horrible and what their names are, where they live, and what they do. What do you think that did to their mental health? And Harry and Meghan are going to pretend like they have nothing to do with it, but that's absurd. There's no way on earth the Sun would have done this if they hadn't been directed to by either Harry and Meghan directly, I suspect, or someone globalist. The globalists controlled his mainstream media. Someone in Harry and Meghan's camp, their group, their cabal there, because this has never been done before or since. And Harry and Meghan started this. So this whole vicious attack to basically kill people with the wrong opinion is started with Harry and Meghan. I mean, they just came in and it was without warning. There was no way, nobody saw this coming. It was like, what? And then next, after they did this, a couple of years later, they brought out Christopher Boozy and his bot Sentinel report, which was copying the Disinformation Dozen report. So we had the Biden White House come out with Disinformation Dozen that debanked and left doctors to die who had the wrong opinion. And plenty of doctors lost their licenses if they dared to write an exemption to the snake bite. But then Imran Ahmed, who helped write this, who I believe worked with bot Sentinel guy, Christopher Boozy, and Christopher Boozy, if you look at the Disinformation Dozen report and look at Christopher Boozy's Sentinel report, which the whole thing was a fraud and a scam. He just copied the format of this report exactly and put in some YouTubers he didn't like. And we all know the YouTubers that he chose. So you can see how connected in so many ways Harry and Meghan with the globalists, with the censorship, right from the very beginning. This is before Harry started the Aspen Institute and everything else. It was an attack on the public, on the free press from day one with Harry and Meghan. I mean, so many journalists have been fired. Here's just one more example. There's many more. The Danny Baker one, journalist, decades of being a journalist, and he had a tradition of using pictures of chimps dressed in fancy attire to mock the royal family. And of course, he didn't know. Again, suddenly and unexpectedly, the rules changed on him with Harry and Meghan, and suddenly his picture was considered, an attack, a racist attack, and he was fired from his job, even though apparently he had a history of sending pictures like this, circus monkeys, to represent the royal family. So he used to be applauded for it, but now with Harry and Meghan coming in and changing all the rules, he found himself fired. And losing your job, what do you think that does to their mental health? I mean, that's like, besides losing a spouse, that's the worst thing that can happen to you, is particularly when you're older. And Harry and Meghan, ironically, and I keep bringing up mental health, because Harry and Meghan turn around and pretend like they're here to help people's mental health with Oprah Winfrey, of course, and the globalists. So they target and attack people and really try to kill them. I mean, debanking them and deplatforming them, demonetizing them, you're just saying go starve and die. I mean, that's the closest thing. And the next step, which is already happening, is imprisoning people, taking away their freedoms completely. And then and the next step after that, is the firing line, basically. And that's where they're headed. They're one step away from that, right? But I mean, that's what they really want you to die if you don't go along with this tyrannical agenda. And Harry and Meghan started it. And it was sudden and unexpected without warning. And at the same time that they were getting people fired, trying to kill them, in my opinion, literally, they were dancing around in People magazine and other globalist controlled mainstream media, pretending to be the victims. Oh, we're the victims. Now, Harry and Meghan, over here, these are the victims of you. We're all the victims of you and your censorship complex. And another facet of it that I was also thinking about was that moon bump thing. The most famous clips of Meghan with the moon bump, I'm not going to show them. I'm sure you're familiar, but the popping moon bump, when she squats down to pet the dog and stands up and you hear pop. I mean, I was thinking about it. I'm like, this is obvious to Meghan knew what she was doing with that. She wanted people to know it was fake. Since when, even with fake moon bumps that pop like that, that's like inflated a balloon in there. Normal, I mean, I'm not an expert at moon bumps, but usually they would be filled with, right, with stuffing or silicone, or they obviously no one's gonna go around with a popping baby bump. So you get that, and then you get another one she wore where it swished back and forth. I mean, it was obvious that to me, and especially the New Zealand one, when she was on her maternity leave, she was supposed to give birth any day now. She's like almost 9 months pregnant, and she goes to New Zealand to lay a wreath for the Christchurch, because that was very political, to bring in the censorship as well. And she squats down on her own and gets up with no problems, without any help whatsoever, with her legs together, which is impossible if you're really pregnant. So I think it's obvious that she and Harry were provoking the public, doing this little satanic, in my opinion, display of provoking people to comment about it and challenging them, while at the same time trying to kill them by demonetizing them and deplatforming them and defaming them and getting them fired from their jobs, their only income. And these are two extremely wealthy globalist type people trying to take away the income from people. This is the 1% against the 99%. And Harry and Meghan have been involved in this for going on 10 years. So I'll never forget, Harry and Meghan began it all. How is it going to be going forward? Are we going to finally get to justice here? Are they going to finally be held accountable? Or is it too big to fail? That's another expression they like. So they get so many people. It doesn't look like it's getting any better in the UK, and Lulu is back. See, you can tell. Meghan's evil has drawn her back to cleanse. Now you want to say hello? Yeah, you want to say hello? Yeah, she's been spending a lot of time on my desk these days. I don't know. I heard that there may be there's rumors of a possible an event 201 scenario has recently occurred in April, and I posted about it on my Odyssey, the video link to Dr. David Martin talking about it, and they're expecting another situation similar to that. What happened with Event 201, predicting an event. Well, there's another Event 201 type event that's predicted for July 4th, 2025. So just to warn you about that, I'm just saying, it's what I'm hearing. So this isn't over. Globalists haven't been held accountable, and they're not stopping. And Harry and Meghan are a part of this group. And of course, this attack on us continues, and it's life and death, really. And Lulu wants to settle down. I'll throw some cards. I don't know. I guess she's picking up. There's some evil vibes going on with Harry and Meghan. Oh, and by the way, I guess I'm adding it to my copper bracelet. I made another one with my tiger's eye. And a little interesting tidbit. I love this particular. I don't know if you can see it in this, but it's really pretty. This tiger's eye, how it shines, the lines in the stone, they really glisten. But I have another tiger's eye stone, and it got chips in it. And I was like, how did that happen? Right? I was like, is this fake or something? What's going on here? It's not fake, I don't think. But I got chips in it. And I'm like, how did it get chips? It's only sitting with other, stones of similar size. I'm not banging it around. I'm not, throwing on the carpets. Lulu likes to knock my stones around sometimes, knock it off the desk. But, I have carpeting, so it's not going to crack the stone. And I read on a website about the expert on crystals was saying that if you have cracks in your crystal that you don't know how they got there, sometimes it just happens if it already was damaged and it's got worse and worse over time. A small crack to a bigger one. But they said also if it's a protective stone like the tiger's eye stone, and you've noticed that there's chips in it, you don't know how they got there, it could be that it protected you from an attack of evil. And the crack is that the stone protected you and you're safe because it took the evil hit for you. And I was like, whoa. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but knowing how evil Harry and Meghan are, I got quite a few cracks in this stone. I was going to tell you, I don't know if you can see all these cracks. I mean, are these lightning evil cracks from that megalodon? I don't know. There's a lot of evil going around the past few years. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay. So yeah, I was like, gonna order some more tiger's eye stone. And yeah, I got my copper. Yeah, baby. We gotta get some more protective stones around here. Things seem to be getting dicier. Lulu's spending more time on the desk, and she doesn't seem to want to leave. I don't think she wants me throwing any cards on this. She's like, no, it's too evil. She's totally blocking the camera. Can I throw some cards, please? Let me just throw a few cards. I'll just throw a few cards because she's like, no, it's not safe. All right, here we go. Let's go through cards. I'm just gonna go with Harry and Meghan's censorship. If you're interested, I'll do a longer reading later. But let's just throw a few cards because Lulu is not comfortable with this reading and this topic. It's way too evil. She doesn't like attracting it here. She's like, oh, cleanse. How's Harry and Meghan's censorship with the globalists here? Their attack on us, trying to destroy us, trying to kill us. How is it going? How's it going to go? I mean, I think it's being hampered with judgment. Oh, judgment. Yeah. So moving on to the next phase here. Now, this could mean that because of what's happening now with the Trump administration and with all the investigations going on that may ending up in court because we got judgment, it could be that they're going to be judged finally, and that this will lead to legal battles, ending legal battles, and a final judgment on them for their crimes against humanity. Finally being judged. They've been getting away with it for years in their lies, trying to help mental health while they're destroying people's mental health. What else? What else? About, it can also, uh, this is a long-term plan. It doesn't matter really. Yeah, Trump's in the White House now, but what are they going to do after Trump's out, right? So it's like, you can't be sure. 8 of Cups, moving on. So Harry and Meghan maybe now moving on from this mission, moving on to the next phase of tyranny, moving on to, of course, Meghan's moved on with her spread, her disgusting spread. Ooh, Wheel of Fortune reversed. Yeah, things not going as planned, as expected. Right now, if Meghan's, type the lies that she told in the beginning, she would be blaming right now people who don't like her spread, her disgusting spread and her disgusting videos and her disgusting interviews. She would have been right now attacking people at the Sussex Squad saying, you're just a racist. You're just a racist. If you don't like her interviews and you don't like her jam, and her flower sprinkles, her evil flower sprinkles from hamster food. Just a few years ago, you would have been deplatformed and demonetized and called a hater and a troll and racist for not liking Meghan Markle. Now, finally, everybody's figuring it out. Finally, Hangman reversed. Harry and Meghan will continue playing the victims. And as we have seen in the recent BBC interview, they are continuing doing that. Oh, Hermit reversed. So the Hermit is, of course, wisdom, knowledge, and reversed is spreading their propaganda, their lies. So Meghan and Harry are going to continue pretending to be victims. They're never going to admit. They'll be judged, all right. We're judging them for sure. Things did not go as planned. So they're moving on from their past, work with Christopher Boozy. They're moving on from trying to censor people outright as they've been doing. Lulu doesn't seem to mind if I put cards on her fur. Ellie used to shake them off, but Lulu's being very nice. She's let me put the cards on her. They're little cards. Yeah, but I'm getting here that Harry and Meghan are forever and eternally the victims. And they're going to keep pushing their lies and trying to push their lies on us as the truth. They do want to continue that, and they will continue that. They will stand by their lies until they are hung as the traitors that they are, because they are arrogant and full of themselves and delusional and insane and, most of all, evil. And I have the stones to prove it. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed this. If so, please like and subscribe. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Lulu. You did not. No.